Observing the heat energy, the gas expands and pushes the piston to right hand side so that its volume increases. Volume increases but pressure is always held constant. So in this way, when you supply heat energy keeping pressure constant, the heat energy supplied is utilized in two ways. A part of the heat energy is used to increase its temperature and the remaining is used to do work, because here it is moving the piston through some distance. It means the gas is doing some work. So some energy is used to increase the temperature and remaining heat energy is used to do work. Okay. Now again let us consider the three variables P, V and T. This time let us take V constant. Let us take V constant. So I wrote here when V is equal to constant. When V is equal to constant, then you write Cv is equal to 1 by mu delta Q by delta T at constant volume. Now example, you take a container, in that you take some gas and you close it with a lid. You are closing permanently, welding to the container. The lid is welded to the container. Inside gas doesn't come out, outside gas doesn't enter into, like that. Now you keep it on a stool and heat it with a stove. So the heat energy is supplied to the gas. Absorbing the heat energy, its temperature increases from T1 to T2. Okay. Then absorbing the heat, that's why here it is written delta T. Okay. Now absorbing the heat energy, the gas should expand, but here it is not allowed to expand because it is closed rigidly. This container is made of rigid walls, so it is not allowed to expand. So then what happens? The gas molecules move with large velocity here and there. Its kinetic energy increases. So inside the pressure increases. So in this way, a part of heat energy is used to increase the temperature and its pressure. So anyhow, when solids have single specific heat capacity, liquids have single specific heat capacity, but gases are having, each gas is having two types of specific heat capacities. One is at constant pressure, another is at constant volume. Now let us look at the specific heat capacity values of some of the substances. Specific heat capacity joule per kg Kelvin. Aluminium 900, carbon 506, copper 386, lead 127, silver 236, tungsten 134, water 4186. So of the given substances, water has the highest specific heat capacity. Highest specific heat capacity compared to other substances. For this reason, water is used as coolant in automobile radiators as well as heater in hot water bags. We have a very short answer question on this. Why water is used as coolant in automobile radiators and heater in hot water bags? The answer is water has highest specific heat capacity compared to other substances. So water has highest specific heat capacity this much. See how it is useful for us means it is absorbing this much large amount of heat and absorbing this much heat energy. Its temperature rises by just 1 degree centigrade. So that is the benefit. See, if you consider other things, they are having lower values. For example, if we take suppose kerosene, or suppose let us consider edible oil, 1965. See, instead of water, if you take this, see, just absorbing this much heat energy, its temperature rises by 1 degree centigrade. So if you use this, it absorbs less energy and its temperature increases quickly. But unlike other substances, our water is absorbing large amount of heat and its temperature rises just absorbing this much heat energy, its temperature rises by just 1 degree centigrade, that's all. So that's why when you use water in radiator, then it can keep the engine cool for more amount of time. Similarly, another thing is there. In summer, why it is cool near lakes or oceans? Owing to high specific heat capacity, water warms up much more slowly than the land during summer, and consequently, wind from lake or ocean has a cooling effect. See here. Let us look at the diagram. Day. This is daytime. Sun is shining in the sky. Sun rays are falling on sea water as well as on the earth. See, earth is made of silica and its specific heat capacity is very much less. Therefore, absorbing small amount of heat energy, its temperature rises quickly. That's why we feel the land very hot when our sun is overhead. But when you get into the water, it will not be hot, it is cold. Why? Because its specific heat capacity is 4186 joule per kg Kelvin. So even absorbing this much heat energy, its temperature rises by just 1 degree centigrade. So that's why it warms up very slowly. So even though sun comes to our overhead, our land gets heated, but the sea water or the lake water doesn't get heated. It warms up very slowly because of its large specific heat capacity value. So here, what is the effect here? Land becomes hotter, so the gases absorbing the heat energy go up. Here empty space is created, and on the lake it is not hot, it is cold, and air at low temperature is denser, and so it blows over the land. We feel the coolness. Now let us go for the night time. When sun sets, the land quickly cools down because its specific heat capacity, silica specific heat capacity is very much less. To heat up, it requires low energy, so it quickly heats up. Here, after sunset, it loses the heat energy to the atmosphere, and just for 1 degree centigrade decrease, it has to lose only small amount of heat energy. That's why it loses the energy quickly and gets cooled down. The energy required to be lost is less, so it quickly cools down. But here, when you come to water, to decrease its temperature by 1 degree centigrade, it has to lose 4886 joules of heat energy. So to lose this much energy, it takes a lot of time. That's why it cools very slowly. That's why if you go to the lake area, you get warm air blowing to the land. Our next topic is calorimetry. 12.7 calorimetry. Calorimetry means measurement of heat. Remember, calorimetry means measurement of heat. When a body at a higher temperature is brought in contact with another body at a lower temperature, the heat lost by the hot body is equal to the heat gained by the colder body, provided no heat is allowed to escape to the surroundings. A device in which heat measurement can be made is called calorimeter. So, how a calorimeter is, it is described here in this para. How care is taken so that no heat is allowed to escape. So, next topic is calorimetry. Now, calorimetry means measurement of heat. Okay, then how you are going to measure heat? A hot body loses the energy to the surroundings, and a cold body absorbs heat energy from the surroundings. So how much energy is lost by the hot body and how much energy is gained by the cold body? How you are going to measure that? So to measure heat, there is a principle, and that is called as principle of calorimetry. Principle of So what is the principle? The principle is heat lost by the hot body is equal to heat gained by the cold body. This is the principle. This is the principle. Let us consider a hot body at temperature 100 degrees centigrade, and let us consider a cold body at a temperature 30 degrees centigrade. You keep the two bodies in touch with each other. Then what you expect? naturally heat flows from hot body towards cold body. How long it flows? Until the temperatures of both become equal. So long heat goes on flowing. Now, but here one condition: the system of the two bodies must be enclosed. It must be covered by a thermocol, a bad conductor. It must be covered by a bad conductor. If not, then what may happen? Some heat of the hot body may be lost to the surrounding atmosphere also. That's why the system must be enclosed by a bad conductor. The heat energy should not be allowed to be wasted to the surroundings. That's why here I have written the principle of calorimetry. Here the hot body is losing its heat energy to the cold body, and that cold body is gaining the heat energy. So suppose in 5 minutes or after some time both became 50 degrees centigrade, 50 degrees centigrade suppose. Now heat lost by this is say some 10 joules. It has lost 10 joules of heat energy. It gains how much? The same energy is gained by the cold body. But when it is possible, when no heat is allowed to escape to the surroundings. So that is included in the definition, in the principle. Heat lost by the hot body is equal to heat gained by the cold body, and provided, here I must write, provided no heat is allowed to escape to the surroundings. So this is the principle of calorimetry, and based on the principle only we can measure heat. And for the purpose of measuring the heat energy, there is a device, and the device used is called calorimeter. How is that calorimeter? Its construction, let us see.
Calorimeter is a cylindrical vessel usually made of thin copper sheet. It is used to measure the heat energy of its contents. The inner and outer sides of a calorimeter are polished to avoid heat loss due to radiation. It is kept inside a rectangular wooden box. The lid of the wooden box slides in. It has space to allow the introduction of the stirrer and the thermometer. The stirrer is used to mix the contents. The thermometer is used to measure the initial and final temperatures of the contents. Wooden box and wooden lid are used as they are good insulators of heat. The space between the calorimeter and wooden box is filled with cotton wool, which is a bad conductor of heat.